Hey friends, it is Kate here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have got a quick little stretch for all of us. Sometimes it can be really challenging when we're at home watching a video that goes on and we start to think about all the many things we could be doing at home instead. So rather than having a long yoga class right now, we're just going to do a quick 10 minutes or less little stretch. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll be on our mat the entire time, either in a seated position or lying on the ground. So take a nice, easy seat wherever you want to start. You can sit however feels best for you, but I do want you to feel your sitting bones attached to the floor. Belly button pulls in, head lifts high, shoulders reach side to side. Take a great big inhale, let your shoulders slide up to your ears. Exhale, soften them down the back. Again, inhale, slide them up the ears. Exhale, soften them down the back. Two more, just kind of rolling them around, waking up your upper body a little bit. Last one, soften down and stay. Now sit up taller and straighter again, belly button in, top of the head lifts so high, so straight. Roll the shoulders and arch forward, reaching your sternum forward, and then exhale, curl back. This is a little seated cat and cow. Sometimes it can be hard for us to be on our hands and knees in a tabletop position. Maybe our shoulders, our wrist, or even our knees don't particularly like that, but that doesn't mean we can't wake up our body right here in a nice, easy seated position. And just like a regular cat and cow on those hands and knees, you don't have to stay in that traditional back and forth. Cat and cow is really about waking up your spine, finding a little mobility, so go ahead and just be as creative as you want to. Find a little movement wherever you want to go. And then eventually I want you to slow that down and then hold steady again. Sit up tall, sit up straight, take a big inhale, reach your hands high over your head, exhale, flip the palms, press them down. Inhale, lift them up. This time take the gaze with you. Exhale, bring them all the way down. One more time, just like that. Inhale, take the gaze with you, and then bring the hands to heart center. Last one, big inhale, pull the hands up, gaze goes with you, press those palms together, hands to heart center. Very last one, reach them up, take a breath. And now keep the hands up in a great big prayer position. Press them towards one another so we can turn on our arms. Reach your chest up through that space between your hands. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, bring your right hand down to the ground. Find a little kickstand. Almost press down into the mat with your fingertips, with your palm. Lift your left hand up higher, and then take a great big side stretch. Now, it's easy to let ourselves collapse on over, but it's not about coming close to the ground. Instead, it's feeling those sitting bones attached, lifting up and reaching out and away from your left hip. Shoulders still down the back. Maybe play with where you take your gaze. You can look down to your hand, you can look straight forward, you could look up towards your extended left hand, and then take a big inhale. Pull yourself slowly up, both hands lift high, and same thing to the other side. Find that little kickstand, reach long and tall through the fingertips, and then stretch on over. Now I'm imagining pressing down through my right hip while I grow long through that right side. It's almost like someone's got a hold of my right arm and is lifting and reaching it out and away from my body as I soften my shoulder down the back. Take a big inhale. Exhale, use your abdominal muscles to pull yourself up. Now one more time, we're going to bring our hand all the way down to the ground and take that same little side stretch. Now from here, I want you to flip your palm so it's facing towards me, and then cactus the arm open. Make a little bed. It's like a little cactus, little goalpost. Now this might be enough of a stretch to the front of your pec, and you can absolutely stay there, or I sometimes like to think of rolling my shoulder back, kind of reaching my shoulder blade towards my spine, and then maybe take my gaze up, opening up a little bit more across the front of my chest. Take a great big inhale. As you exhale, look forward again, reach that arm long and straight, and then let's go ahead and find a nice easy forward fold in our seated position. Roll yourself up, restack the spine, belly button in, top of the head high, both hands lift up. Exhale, left hand down, inhale, right hand reaches up and over, and let's pause right here. Again, press that sitting bone down, flip your palm so it's facing away from you, and then cactus the arm open. Now both sides can be so different. Maybe right here you'd like to stay, or maybe again you want to roll that shoulder back, taking your gaze, your chest up to the sky, finding that extended stretch to the front of your body. Stay as long as you like to. Again, both sides can be so different. Maybe we want to hang out here a little longer, and that would be fine. But as you feel ready, exhale, reach the arm long, and then curl yourself forward, slowly restacking the spine all the way up to a nice, easy seated position. Let's go ahead and lie down. So turn to face whatever side works best for you, and come on down to the ground. Now before we do anything, let's just keep paying attention to our spine a little bit. Rock and roll a little on your pelvis, maybe even side to side. You can kind of sway the knees if that feels nice, but eventually let's imprint the spine. That means pressing the small of your back down, pulling that belly button in. Pay attention to the back of your body, and I just want you to feel each vertebrae touching the mat behind you. Kind of follow your spine all the way up to that space between your shoulder blades. Can you broaden the shoulder blades a little bit? Can you keep your nose pointing straight up to the ceiling? Extend your right foot up to the sky. If there is a bend in your knee, that is okay. Wherever it is, though, I want you to flex and point the toe a little bit. Just find a little movement in that ankle. And then go ahead and circle the ankle around, circle it in the opposite direction. And then eventually, go ahead and press down into your left foot on the floor while you cross your right over. Now make sure that you take that foot all the way across your leg. We don't want you to point the toe and sickle the ankle. That puts a lot of undue pressure on our ankle. Instead, flex, cross the foot completely over your left leg, and you can either hang out right here. This is a lovely stretch for a lot of us. Feel free to stay. A few other options, we could lift our bottom leg up. Now, the more I think about actively flexing both of my feet and keeping a nice 90-degree angle in my left leg, the bigger of a stretch I happen to feel. Everybody is different though, so don't feel like you have to look exactly like me. You may even want to take your fingers, clasp them behind your leg, and give yourself a gentle tug. Now, sometimes I like to rock a little side to side. That can feel nice on the back of my body. You may even want to try extending the leg long. And then eventually we can set our foot on the ground. Before we switch to the other side, one other thing I like to do is just take a big deep inhale and lift up into a bridge. Now this might be too much for some of us. Don't feel like you have to, but I find it feels really nice to the front of my hips. I get a little extra just from lifting the pelvis up and trying to keep both of my hip bones even with one another, meaning I'm not letting that right side especially fall to the ground. I am pressing down, lifting up, and opening up through the front of both hips. Take a big inhale. Exhale, roll all the way down to the ground. Lovingly, gently unravel that leg. If you want a windshield wiper between sides, you go right ahead, but eventually press down into the right foot, elongate the spine just as we did on the first side, and take your left or opposite foot up. Remember, I do the wrong side all the time, so if you did one side instead of the other, that's okay, doesn't matter, as long as we switch. Just as we did on the other side, move that ankle around, circling it in one direction and then the other. And then as you feel ready, we'll cross that foot over. And go ahead, and again, you can either actively flex or point the toe, whatever feels better in your ankle, but we want the foot crossed entirely over so that foot's on the other side of your leg. Now both sides, just like our shoulders and our hips, can be very uneven. Feel free to stay right here, or again to lift your bottom foot up. Maybe giving yourself a gentle tug, a gentle little hug in. Now the more you can keep the back of your body connected to the mat, the better. We don't want to curl our tail up and away just so we can bring our leg closer to us. It's not about that. For me, the more I actively bend and I think of pulling my right knee towards my right shoulder while allowing my left leg to open up, the bigger of a stretch I happen to feel. You again can play with extending the leg long or maybe just taking a gentle sway side to side. No hurry, no rush. Eventually soften that foot back onto the floor, hands by your side, and once more we'll lift up into that little bridge position with our figure four. Opening up the hip, pressing down into the foot, lifting the hips higher. Take one more big inhale. and roll all the way down. Unravel that leg and let's pull both knees into our chest. Give them a little circle. I like to circle away from one another and then towards one another. No hurry, no rush. I like to pull my knees into my chest, and then eventually from here we're going to take our legs into a little tabletop position. Hands can either be down by your side in a small little V or all the way out in a T, whatever works best for you, but take a big inhale. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the right. We might hear a few little pops in our back as we take that great big twist. Now, I'm not a physical therapist, but I've always been told by physical therapists, as long as popping doesn't hurt in your body, then it is a-okay. Take a great big inhale. Exhale, pull yourself to center and allow yourself to twist to the opposite side. Let yourself settle. Your nose can be straight up to the sky, or you could look away from your knees, whatever feels best for you. One more breath. Pull yourself back to center. Give yourself a great big hug, a great big squeeze. Let's just take a little rock and roll until we come all the way up to a nice, easy seat. And there you have it, a little 10-minute stretch, a nice way to get our bodies moving throughout the day. It doesn't always have to be a great big long thing. I certainly hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again. Go ahead and like, subscribe, send me a comment. I'm always happy to answer questions, and I will see you soon.